The massive quantum projection materialized in United Earth Command's central chamber, casting an eerie purple glow across the faces of Earth's highest-ranking officials. Director Sarah Chen stood at the center of the room, her expression neutral as she watched the alien forms take shape. 3 veteran representatives appeared, their crystalline bodies refracting light in impossible ways. The lead veteran, Supreme Overseer Thax, stepped forward. Its voice resonated through the chamber, a symphony of harmonics that the translation systems rendered into crisp English. Humans of Earth, your recent breakthrough in quantum fold technology has drawn the attention of the veteran collective. We have watched your species progress from primitive fusion drives to full quantum manipulation in mere decades. Such rapid advancement cannot go unchecked. Chen's fingers tightened almost imperceptibly on the datapad she held. Earth had achieved quantum fold travel just 18 months ago, opening up vast new regions of space for exploration and colonization. They'd known they weren't alone in the galaxy, but this was humanity's first direct contact with an advanced alien civilization. The collective requires the immediate surrender of all quantum fold technology and research. Thax continued. Your species is too young, too volatile to be trusted with such power. Submit, and you may continue your expansion using approved conventional drives. Refuse, and we will be forced to take more direct action. Behind Chen, Admiral Marcus Hayes shifted his weight, the only sign of tension in his otherwise perfect military posture. The chamber remained silent as the implications sank in. Humanity was being ordered to give up its greatest achievement, to surrender the stars they'd only just reached. You have 14 standard days to comply, Thax announced. We await your response. The projection flickered and vanished, leaving the room in darkness until the regular lighting resumed. Well, Chen said into the silence, they certainly know how to make an entrance. She turned to face the assembled leaders, her dark eyes sharp with determination. Comments. They're scared, Hayes said immediately. This isn't about our safety or stability. They're afraid of how quickly we're advancing. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the Quantum Sciences Division, nodded in agreement. Our approach to quantum manipulation is fundamentally different from theirs. We've seen hints of it in the long-range scans. They use crystalline matrices to channel quantum energy. We developed organic quantum processors. They're not just afraid of our progress. They're afraid of our potential. Chen set her datapad down on the central table, bringing up a holographic display of Earth's defensive capabilities. Options. We can't fight them conventionally, Hayes admitted. Their fleet is at least 20 times the size of ours, with technology centuries ahead in most areas. Except for quantum fold, Chen finished. The one area where we've taken a different path. She studied the tactical display for a long moment. Dr. Tanaka, what's the status of Project Oracle? Tanaka straightened, glancing around the room. Most of the people present didn't have clearance for what she was about to reveal. Chen nodded, giving her permission to continue. We found something, Tanaka said carefully. 3 months ago, in the Mariana Trench, an artificial structure, perfectly preserved despite being over 50,000 years old. The energy readings. She paused, choosing her words. They match our quantum signature, not the veteran's crystalline technology. Ours. The room erupted in whispers. Chen raised a hand for silence. Explain. Someone was here before us, Tanaka continued. Someone who developed quantum technology along the same lines we did. They left something behind, something massive. We've only begun to scratch the surface, but what we found. She smiled slightly. Let's just say the veterans might have good reason to be worried. Chen turned back to the spot where the alien projection had stood. 14 days, she mused. Can you have answers for me in 14 days, Doctor? Tanaka hesitated. Maybe. Probably. But Director, there's something else you should know. She brought up an image on the display. Strange markings on an ancient wall. These writings, they're in multiple languages, including modern English. Whoever left this, they left it specifically for us to find. They knew we'd need it exactly when we found it. The implications settled over the room like a heavy blanket. They weren't just dealing with ancient ruins. They were dealing with a message, a legacy left by someone who had seen this moment coming thousands of years in advance. "Get me answers," Chen ordered. "Admiral Hayes, begin evacuation preparations for our off-world colonies quietly. Let's not show any signs of panic." She looked around the room, meeting each person's eyes in turn. The veterans think they're dealing with a young, primitive species that will bow to their demands. In 14 days, we're going to show them exactly how wrong they are. As the others filed out, Chen remained, staring at the tactical display. Humanity had fought its way up from the mud, survived ice ages and asteroids, wars and plagues, to reach for the stars. They'd done it their way, defying conventional wisdom at every turn. Now, some ancient power had left them a gift, a key to their survival. The question was, were they ready to use it? Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood in the submersible observation deck, 3 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean. The massive structure before her defied everything. She thought she knew about Earth's history. Its smooth, dark surface seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, except for the intricate patterns that pulsed with a soft quantum signature, the same signature they'd discovered in their own quantum-fold technology. "Status report." Director Chen's voice came through the comm system. She'd arrived at the facility an hour ago, after evacuating the non-essential personnel. "The structure's energy output has increased by 300% since the veteran ultimatum," Tanaka reported, her eyes fixed on the readings scrolling across her tablet. "It's like it's responding to their presence, or preparing for something." A soft hum filled the observation deck as Chen joined her. Even the usually unflappable director couldn't hide her sharp intake of breath at the sight of the ancient wall. "How much of it have we mapped?" "About 15%, Tanaka replied. "The structure extends for hundreds of kilometers in a complex geometric pattern. What we're seeing here is just one node of a much larger network." She brought up a holographic map showing the known extent of the installation. "We've found similar nodes at other deep ocean sites around the world. They're all connected, all showing the same increase in activity." Chen stepped closer to the window, studying the glowing patterns. "And the writings." Tanaka projected another hologram, this one showing the mysterious inscriptions they'd discovered. Multiple languages, some alien, some human, including modern languages that didn't exist when this was built. "The message is always the same. When the stars threaten, speak the word." "A word?" Chen mused. "One word to activate all this." She gestured at the massive structure. "We think so. The patterns, they're not just decorative. They're some kind of quantum lock, waiting for the right key." Tanaka hesitated. "Director, we found something else. The quantum signature. It's not just similar to ours. It's identical, down to the smallest fluctuation." Chen turned sharply. "That's impossible. We developed our quantum-fold technology independently." "Did we?" Tanaka brought up another display, this one showing complex quantum equations. "Look at the basic principles we used. The organic quantum processors, the neural interface designs, they all follow patterns we're finding in this structure. What if—" She took a deep breath. "What if we were meant to develop it this way? What if someone left us breadcrumbs to follow?" Before Chen could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. "Multiple quantum signatures detected in orbit," the AI announced. "Veteran ships entering the solar system." "They're early," Chen muttered. "How many?" 30 vessels, all capital class," the AI reported. "Current trajectory suggests they're establishing a blockade position." Tanaka's tablet chimed with new data. "Director, look at this." The patterns on the ancient wall had changed, shifting into new configurations. The structure is responding to their presence. Energy levels are spiking across all nodes. Chen's comm unit buzzed. "Director," Admiral Hayes's voice was tense. "The veteran advance force just dropped out of quantum space. They're demanding to speak with you." "Stall them," Chen ordered. Tell them I'm in transit from our lunar base. Doctor, she turned to Tanaka. How close are you to finding that word? Tanaka studied the shifting patterns, her mind racing. The structure's reactions are giving us new data. With the increased activity, we might be able to. Her voice trailed off as new symbols appeared on the wall. Director, look. The glowing patterns had resolved into clear text, cycling through different languages. But unlike the previous messages, this was new. Warning, Tanaka read aloud. Crystalline oppressors detected. Legacy protocols initiating. Awaiting activation command. Legacy protocols. Chen stepped closer to the window. Doctor, what exactly did we find down here? Not what, Tanaka whispered, watching as more text appeared. Who? We found who we used to be. She looked at Chen, her eyes wide with realization. Director, I don't think this technology was left for us by aliens. I think humanity built this, a previous human civilization, one that reached the stars long before us. And they left it here because they knew we'd need it. The facility shuddered as another energy spike rippled through the structure. Above them, the veteran ships moved into position, unaware of what lay beneath Earth's oceans. They saw humans as primitive, as children playing with dangerous toys. They didn't know they were dealing with a species that had risen not once, but twice. How long? Chen asked quietly. Hours, maybe less, Tanaka replied. The patterns are stabilizing. Soon we'll be able to read the full message, including the activation word. Chen nodded, her decision made. Get me that word, Doctor. It's time humanity remembered who we really are. In orbit, the veteran ships hung like crystalline stars, their weapons primed. They expected submission. Instead, they were about to witness a resurrection, the return of a power they had never known existed, waiting patiently beneath the waves for humanity to find its way back to the stars. Admiral Hayes stood in Earth's Orbital Defense Command, watching the tactical display as more veteran ships emerged from quantum space. Their crystalline vessels caught the sunlight, creating prismatic displays that would have been beautiful if they weren't so threatening. The fleet count had reached 50 ships now, each one larger than anything humanity had built. Admiral, his tactical officer called out, the veterans are requesting another channel. They're not happy about the delay. Of course they're not, Hayes muttered. He'd been stalling for 6 hours, feeding them increasingly implausible excuses for Director Chen's absence. Put them through. Supreme Overseer Cathax's crystalline form materialized in the command center. Admiral Hayes, the alien's harmonics carried clear frustration. Our patience grows thin. Where is Director Chen? As I explained, Overseer, lunar transit can be unpredictable. Solar activity has been. Enough. Cathax's form pulsed with angry light. We have detected unusual energy signatures from your planet's oceans. You are hiding something. The alien leaned forward. You have 6 hours to produce Director Chen and begin the technology transfer, or we will take what we want by force. The transmission cut off. Hayes immediately opened a secure channel to the underwater facility. Director, please tell me you have something. They're scanning the oceans. They can't detect the structure itself. Chen's voice came back, overlaid with the deep water distortion. The quantum masking is holding. But Dr. Tanaka's latest discovery. You need to see this. Get down here. 30 minutes later, Hayes stood beside Chen in a new chamber they'd uncovered, staring at what appeared to be a historical record left by their ancestors. The walls displayed moving images, telling a story that rewrote human history. We weren't the first, Chen said quietly. Humanity reached the stars 50,000 years ago. We built quantum drives, colonized dozens of worlds. And then we met the Crystalline Empire, the ancestors of the veterans. Tanaka stepped forward, manipulating controls they'd only recently discovered. The war lasted decades. Humanity was outnumbered, but our organic quantum technology gave us an advantage. We could do things with quantum energy that they couldn't understand. But eventually, The images showed massive crystalline ships, similar to the ones now orbiting Earth, devastating human worlds. They found a way to disrupt our quantum network, Hayes realized. That's why they're so afraid of us developing it again. Yes, Tanaka confirmed. But our ancestors planned for this. They knew the crystalline empire would eventually reduce Earth to a primitive state, knew they would watch us, waiting to intervene if we ever rediscovered our true potential. So they built this. She gestured to the facility around them. A legacy system, hidden where they would never think to look, designed to wake up when we needed it most. A deep thrumming filled the chamber as new patterns appeared on the walls. The network is nearly ready, Tanaka said. When we speak the activation word, it will restore everything. Our lost technology, our true history, defenses that the veterans can't counter because they still don't understand how our quantum systems work. Do we have the word? Hayes asked. Almost, Tanaka replied. The final encryption key is linked to their presence. Each new ship they bring into orbit adds data to the decryption sequence. It's like our ancestors knew exactly how this confrontation would play out. Chen's comm unit chimed. Director, a worried voice reported. The veteran fleet is moving. They're taking up attack positions. How long until they can fire? Chen asked. Their weapons will have firing solutions in 5 hours, 43 minutes. Chen looked at Tanaka. Will you have the word by then? Yes, Tanaka said firmly. But Director, you need to see the rest of the message. Our ancestors left us a warning. When we activate the legacy system, it won't just give us back our technology. It's going to wake up everything we left behind. Automated defense systems, production facilities, possibly even dormant colonies throughout the solar system. The quantum surge will be massive. If there are people in orbit when it happens, Hayes straightened. I'll begin evacuating our orbital facilities. We can make it look like we're abandoning them in fear. Do it, Chen ordered. Doctor, show me these warnings. If we're about to resurrect an ancient version of humanity, I want to know exactly what we're getting into. As Hayes left to coordinate the evacuation, Chen and Tanaka descended deeper into the facility. Around them, the quantum signatures grew stronger, the patterns more complex. Humanity had hidden its greatest achievements beneath the waves, waiting for the moment when their descendants would need them most. That moment had finally arrived. In orbit, the veteran ships tightened their blockade, confident in their superiority. They believed they were dealing with a young, primitive species that had stumbled upon dangerous technology. They didn't realize they were about to face an awakening, the return of a power that had fought them to a standstill once before. And this time, humanity would not be caught unprepared. The quantum patterns rippled across the ancient walls like digital aurora, casting shifting shadows through the underwater facility. Dr. Tanaka's fingers flew across the holographic interface as she integrated the final pieces of data from the veteran fleet movements above. Each new ship that arrived added another layer to the decryption sequence, like pieces of a cosmic puzzle falling into place. Energy spike, one of her assistants called out. The quantum signature just jumped by 500%. Tanaka looked up at the central display where a complex geometric pattern was forming. This is it, she breathed. Director, Admiral, you need to see this. Chen and Hayes hurried into the chamber, having just finished coordinating the orbital evacuation. Above them, the last civilian ships were pulling back from Earth's orbital installations, maintaining the illusion of retreat. The veterans are starting their final approach, Hayes reported. 20 minutes until they're in firing position. Whatever we're going to do. Look, Tanaka interrupted, pointing to the wall where the quantum patterns had resolved into clear text. The message cycled through multiple languages before settling on English. To our children's children, the legacy you have found is both gift and burden. We fought the crystalline empire to preserve humanity's right to choose its own path. Now that choice falls to you. Speak the word only if you are ready to remember who you truly are, for there can be no return to innocence after awakening. The word. Chen stepped forward. You have it. Tanaka nodded slowly. It's Not what I expected. Our ancestors, they didn't just leave us technology. They left us a philosophy, a fundamental truth about who we are as a species. She brought up another display, showing the quantum patterns that had led them to this moment. The word is remember. A heavy silence fell over the chamber. Remember, Hayes tested the word. Not a command for the system, but for ourselves. Exactly, Tanaka said. The quantum network, the hidden technology. It's all keyed to human consciousness. Our ancestors believed that the power to reshape reality through quantum manipulation had to be tied to understanding and wisdom, not just technical capability. That's why the veterans could never replicate our technology. They tried to force quantum energy through crystalline matrices, but we learned to work with it organically, to let it flow through living systems. Chen's comm unit buzzed urgently. Director, the veteran fleet is broadcasting an ultimatum. They're demanding immediate surrender and technology transfer. They're threatening to start targeting population centers. How long until full firing solutions? Hayes asked. 12 minutes. Chen looked at the ancient message, still cycling through languages on the wall. Doctor, what happens when we speak the word? Exactly. Based on the data we've decoded, it will trigger a quantum cascade through the entire network, Tanaka explained. Every node will activate simultaneously. The energy release will be massive. Anyone still in orbit will be caught in the quantum wake. But more than that, she hesitated. It will wake up our dormant quantum organs. Our what? Hayes turned sharply. Part of our ancestors' organic quantum technology involved biological adaptation. They modified themselves to interface directly with quantum energy. Those modifications are still in our DNA, just dormant. When we speak the word, it won't just activate the technology, it will activate us. We'll remember not just our history, but our potential. We'll become what we once were. The facility shuddered as another energy surge passed through the structure. On the tactical display, the veteran ships moved into their final attack positions, their crystalline weapons charging. 10 minutes to firing solution. The AI announced calmly. Chen straightened, her decision made. Admiral, are all our people clear of orbit? The last evacuation ship just cleared the safe zone. Doctor, are you certain about the biological effects? This won't harm our people. Tanaka shook her head. The changes are already part of us. We're just waking them up. Like remembering how to ride a bicycle, but on a quantum scale. Chen nodded once, then opened a global broadcast channel. This is Director Chen to all Earth facilities. Brace for quantum surge in 3 minutes. Repeat, quantum surge in 3 minutes. She looked at Hayes and Tanaka. Any last objections? They both shook their heads. Above them, the veteran fleet hung like a crystalline sword of Damocles, unaware that their targets were about to become something far more than they appeared. 7 minutes to firing solution. The AI updated. Chen took a deep breath, facing the ancient wall where 50,000 years of human achievement waited to be reborn. Let's remind the galaxy who we are. She spoke clearly, with purpose and conviction. Remember. The word echoed through the chamber, through the quantum network, through the very DNA of every human being on Earth. And the universe held its breath as humanity began to wake up. The quantum surge began as a whisper in the depths of Earth's oceans, a ripple of energy that spread through the ancient network like dawn breaking across the world. In orbit, the veteran fleet's sensors registered the initial disturbance, just as their weapons reached full charge. Supreme Overseer Cathax watched in growing alarm as unprecedented energy readings erupted from the planet below. Impossible, the crystalline being whispered as the tactical display showed quantum signatures unlike anything in veteran records. All ships, open fire. Now. But it was already too late. The quantum wave reached the surface, transforming from invisible energy into visible light that raced up from every ocean on Earth. Massive structures began rising from the depths, ancient installations awakening after 50,000 years of sleep. The sky itself seemed to ripple as dormant quantum organs in every human being resonated with the surge. In the underwater facility, Director Chen gasped as knowledge flooded her consciousness. Not just information, but understanding that went bone deep. She could feel the quantum energy now, could see how it flowed through reality like currents in an invisible sea. Around her, Dr. Tanaka and Admiral Hayes were experiencing the same awakening. "The fleet," Hayes said, his voice filled with new authority. "They're firing." Through her awakened senses, Chen could see the veteran weapons charging, crystalline matrices focusing enough energy to devastate cities. But now she also saw how crude and limited their technology was, trying to force quantum energy through rigid patterns instead of working with its natural flow. She reached out with her newly awakened abilities, connecting to the ancient defense network. Quantum shields shimmed into existence around Earth, not solid barriers but flowing fields that redirected energy like water around stone. The veteran weapons fired, their beams of concentrated power splashing harmlessly across the quantum currents. "Director," Tanaka called out, her eyes wide with wonder as she interfaced with the facility's systems. "The network is fully online. Everything is working exactly as our ancestors designed. And there's more. We're detecting quantum signatures from Mars, Venus, the moons of Jupiter. Automated facilities, dormant colonies, all awakening." Kathax's voice crackled through the communication systems, harmonic tones, sharp with fear. "What are you? This technology. It's impossible." Chen stepped forward, and when she spoke, her voice carried the weight of both present and past. "We are humanity, Overseer, not just as we are now, but as we have always been. Your ancestors tried to force us back to the Stone Age, but they didn't understand what makes us unique. We don't just use quantum energy, we work with it, grow with it, learn from it. It's part of us." Through the quantum network, she could sense the veteran ships preparing for another attack. With a thought, she activated the ancient defense platforms that had risen from the oceans. They didn't fire weapons. Instead, they began generating quantum interference patterns that disrupted the crystalline ship's rigid energy matrices. "You have a choice," Chen continued. "You can retreat, return to your council, and tell them that Earth is not some primitive world to be exploited. Tell them that humanity has remembered who we are, and we will not be controlled or contained. And if we refuse," Kathax demanded, but there was uncertainty in its harmonics. Hayes stepped forward, his military training enhanced by awakened insight. "Look at your tactical displays, Overseer. Really look. Your weapons can't penetrate our quantum fields. Your ship's energy systems are already beginning to destabilize. You're not in a position to negotiate." On the displays, the veteran ships were indeed struggling, their crystalline matrices unable to maintain coherence against the quantum interference. One by one, they began backing away from Earth, retreating to safer distances. "This isn't over," Kathax warned. "The Council will not accept." "The Council," Chen interrupted, "will accept reality. Humanity isn't asking for permission to exist. We're simply reminding you that we always have." She paused, letting her next words carry clear intent. "I suggest you leave before we start remembering other things, like the weaknesses in veteran technology that our ancestors discovered during the last war." The threat wasn't idle. Through the quantum network, Chen could already see those weaknesses, could understand exactly how to exploit them. The veterans must have seen something in Earth's defenses that confirmed this, because their fleet began an immediate withdrawal. As the crystalline ships vanished into quantum space, Chen turned to her companions. Around them, the ancient facility hummed with power, its purpose fulfilled. Status: "The awakening is spreading globally," Tanaka reported, interfacing effortlessly with the quantum systems. "Every human being on Earth is experiencing the activation of their quantum organs. The understanding, the memories. Everyone's receiving them at their own pace, but within days, we'll all be fully awakened." "The defense network is operational," Hayes added, And the automated facilities in the solar system are coming online. We got shipyards, research stations, resource processors, everything our ancestors left for us. We could rebuild our entire civilization in months instead of decades. Chen nodded, feeling the weight of the future settling onto her shoulders. They had remembered who they were, had reclaimed their legacy. But with that power came responsibility. The very thing their ancestors had tried to teach them through their quantum technology. "Send word to all Earth facilities," she ordered. Tell them that humanity has remembered, and we have work to do." As her words spread across the quantum network, Chen looked up through the oceans of Earth toward the stars above. Their ancestors had faced this moment before, the choice between power and wisdom, between dominance and understanding. They had chosen to work with the quantum force that flowed through all things, to grow with it rather than try to control it. Now, 50,000 years later, humanity had made that choice again. They had remembered not just their technology, but their philosophy, their understanding that true power came from working with the universe, not against it. The veterans would return, perhaps with allies, but they would find a humanity fully awakened, fully aware of its capabilities and its responsibilities. Earth's children had grown up again, had remembered who they were. And this time, they would not forget.